How y'all doing, y'all? It is Luke 14. Wait, give me a sec, actually. Yep. Luke 14. Yeah. Sorry, I was a little confused. Day 14. Hope you like my hat. You know, one of my favorite hats. Just want to say it's Sunday, y'all. Hope you had a great day at church. I sure do. I sure did. And, you know, if y'all watching this, God bless y'all. Hope y'all have the rest of your days. And tomorrow, sadly, is Monday. I have to go back to school. But, you know, it's alright. I am blessed to be able to go back to school. Even though sometimes it's kind of annoying. And I don't want to go back, but it's a blessing. So let's get started, my friends. One Sabbath, when Jesus went to eat in the house of a prominent Pharisee, he was being carefully watched. There in the front of him, he was a man suffering from abnormal swelling of his body. Jesus asked the Pharisee and experts in law, "Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath or not?" But they remained silent. So taking hold of the man, he healed him and sent him on this way. Because if you remember, if you remember when they were telling Jesus, in 12, Luke 12. Yeah, Luke 12. No, not Luke 12. My fault. Luke 13. Luke 11. My fault. Well, somewhere back then. And in Luke 14, because in the back, Jesus, he tells him, the Pharisees are like, why are you doing this on the Sabbath? You know, like, they have 6 days, they can come back and get healed. And Jesus told him, you know, like, when you untie your ox and you give him water, you go to show me, you know, that's working on the Sabbath. But, and I forgot in the other part, I'm so sorry, guys, where Jesus says that, you know, he says, would you rather do evil and see a person suffering on the Sabbath? Or, like, watch them suffer on the Sabbath? Or do good on the Sabbath? Even that's what Jesus was telling them. But not here, but in the earlier chapter. And Jesus says, then he asks, if one of you has a child or an ox that falls into a well on the Sabbath, would you not immediately pull it out? So Jesus is telling him, like, wouldn't you help your child if he's in a well? He's giving that parable. And they had nothing to say. When he noticed that the guests picked the places of honor at the table, he told them this parable. When someone invites you to a wedding feast, do not take the place of honor, for a person more distinguished than you may have been invited. If so, the host invited both of you will come say, give this person your seat. Then humiliated you will have to take the least important place. But when you are invited, take the lowest place, so that when your host comes, he will say to you, friend, move up to a better place. Then you will be honored in the presence of all other guests. For all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Because Jesus is using this parable that when you choose the most honorable seat in a place, and then someone more honorable comes in, someone more honorable, more distinguished comes, and that seat was for him, and then you think all high and mighty of yourself. Well, Jesus is using that parable and saying that, you know, if you exalt themselves, you will be humbled. You will. And Jesus is saying that the people that are always humble, that, you know, stay humble, will be exalted. And shows you have to be humble. Stay humble. Humble yourself sometimes. You know, sometimes we need to humble ourselves before Jesus humbles us, you know. Verse 12, then Jesus said to the host, when you give a luncheon or dinner, do not invite your friends, your brothers or sisters, your relatives, or your rich neighbors. If you do, they may invite you back, and so you will be repaid. But when you retire your banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed. Although they cannot repay you, you will be repaid in resurrection of righteousness. Verse 15, when one of those at the table with him heard, he said to Jesus, blessed is the one who will eat at the feast of the kingdom of God. Jesus replied, a certain man was preparing a great banquet, and he invited many guests. Okay, Jesus is comparing the kingdom of God to this banquet, and God inviting all these people. All right. At the time of the banquet, he sent his servant to those that he had been invited. Come, for everything is now ready. But they alike began to make excuses. They first said, I have just bought a field. I must go and see it. Please excuse me. Another said, I have bought 5 yoke of oxen, and I am on my way to try them. Please excuse me. Still another said, I just got married, so I can't come. The servant came back and reported this to his master. Then the owner of the house became angry and ordered the servant to go out quickly into the streets and the alleys and bring in the poor, the crippled, the blind, and the lame. Okay, Jesus is saying here, like preparing the kingdom of God, and God invites all these people, invites them, and they make excuses to not come to the kingdom of God. They have the free will to choose to accept that invitation from God, to accept that invitation, But they choose, I'm gonna stay in the worldly problems, the worldly desires, and all these other things, right? They choose the world instead of God's kingdom, and that's where we decline the invitation. You hear me? That's what Jesus is saying here, that we decline the invitation that God has given us. We make excuses about not accepting that invitation, and then Jesus, he says that the guy that had the great banquet, right, invites the poor, the lame, all these other people to come and be in the room. He invites other people, and they don't have no excuses. The poor don't have excuses. They want to come. They're grateful for being invited. And sir, the servant said, what you had ordered had been done, but there is still room. Then the master told his servant, go out on the road, count country lines, and compel them to come in, and the house will be full. I tell you to compel them, and so that my house will be full, and I tell you not one of those who were invited will get to taste my banquet. Well, the people that were invited but did not come, and they made excuses, they will not taste the kingdom of God. You get me? That's what Jesus is trying to say here. Okay, 25, guys. Large crowds were traveling with Jesus, and turning to them and said, if anyone comes to me and does not hate thy father and mother, wife, children, brothers and sisters, yes, even their own life, such as a person cannot be my disciple. And whoever does not carry their cross, follow me, cannot be my disciple. Suppose one of you wants to build a tower, but won't you first sit at the down and estimate the cost if you have enough money to complete it? For if you lay a foundation and you're not able to finish it, everyone will see who sees it will ridicule you, saying this person began to build and wasn't able to finish. Or suppose a king is about to go to war against another king. Won't he first sit down and consider whether he's able with 10,000 men to oppose the one coming against him with 20,000? And still along the way will ask the terms of peace. In the same way of the disciples who do not give up everything, cannot be by my disciples. Salt is good, but if it loses its saltiness, how can it be a salty again? It is not fit neither for the soil, nor for the manure pile. It is thrown out. Whoever has ears to hear, let them hear. Okay, Jesus is saying, to be a disciple of God, there's gonna be sacrifices in your life. There are. You're gonna lose some people. Some people not want to be with you or hang out with you, want to be your friend or any of that stuff, And then problems are gonna come up, A lot of stuff is gonna happen when you're following God. You gotta make sacrifices in life, to be a disciple of God. And to be honest with you, it's worth it. It really is. Just telling you. So, I probably went too fast for y'all. I hope y'all liked it. And if you didn't like it, Bryce Crawford is out there. His podcast does the same thing. Really amazing. And that's the end of 14, y'all. I just want to tell y'all that. God bless y'all. Love y'all. Have a blessing day. And just know that I'm here for y'all. Alright? I'm here for y'all. Y'all need to talk. I got y'all. Respect. Alright? Peace.